Hey guys, awesome episode. We have fingers and butts, vulnerable dating from a male perspective, and what it means if he's watching your Instagram stories. And we're yelling. I am a huge fan of today's guest, but before I introduce him, I'm going to do an intro as him, the way he intros his own podcast. Check it out, share with friends. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to How Come. How Come, coming to you live every Sunday from Nanny's house. Let me start this episode by saying thank you. Thank you for listening, and thank you for telling a friend. Thank you for doing your part. If you're hearing me say thank you and you haven't done any of these things, maybe do some of those things. Listen. You listen. Tell people. Who have you told? Rate, review, subscribe. That's right. There's 3 jobs you have. I bring the funny. Charlotte brings the facts. You bring the talking. You. Tell your friends. This isn't a weird podcast. We're talking about relatable shit. We're talking about coming. We're helping people. Let's do it. Tell a friend. Tell a coworker. Put it on a road trip back from the beach. Let us guide your summer. Put us in your ears. Summer. How come? How come? Tag a friend. Put it as your Instagram story and tag us. When you tell someone about How Come, we come. Imagine that. When you post about How Come, we come. Tag a friend, tag a lover, tag your coworker, tag your dad. Do it. Change the world. Rate, review, subscribe, and make us come. I've made some of you come without touching you. Do it to me. Come with me. Okay, that was an almost verbatim intro from Jared Freid's podcast this week. That's right. This week, our guest is Jared Freid from J Train. He is a comedian. He has the J Train podcast, the You Up podcast with bitches. He just had me on his podcast 2 days ago. Ladies and gentlemen, live studio audience that I stole from Jared Freid's podcast. Give it up for Jared Freid.
How come? How come? How come I can't achieve? How come I can't achieve? I'm rolling up my sleeves. I'm rolling up my sleeves. Oh baby, I believe these guests can help. 'Cause I can't do it by myself. I wanna just...
This episode is crazy for so many reasons. Our guest is amazing, but also this is season 2, episode 22. The first time I came was February 22. That is the second month, 22nd day. This is the second season, 22nd episode. Our guest's birthday, February 21st. Holy shit. Numerology, synchronicity, rate, review, and subscribe. Our guest today, Jared Freid. He's an amazing comedian. He's got his own podcast, J Train and You Up. I was just on J Train on Friday. You can listen to this same exact intro if you go listen to that episode after this one. You're going to love it. Welcome, Jared Freid.
Thank you. I appreciate it. This is fun.
Awesome. Charlotte, what do you want me to do?
Lower him a little. Lower him.
Don't loud shame him.
Charlie was like, I'm not going to be a ghost, and then turns into a mom ghost midway through the
Helicopter mom.
Lower.
We thought about it because I was like, we usually record with guys at Charlotte's apartment because Manny doesn't love guys to be here anymore. But we can't record at her place because Jared's loud, and I don't want to echo it around the walls. It would like bounce.
Do you have roommates?
Her apartment's like a box, so it's like much more echoey and like more difficult to edit. And I was like, I am not editing Jared's like feedback from his screaming.
Booming.
Yeah.
You should hear when I do the Bachelor Live. I do Bachelor Live stories, so like
they're my favorite.
Thank you. I yell at the TV while the Bachelorette or Bachelor's going on, and I don't like. I've never had a complaint from a neighbor, but I'm really fucking loud. Like I'm really yelling at the TV, and I've just recently started thinking. I'm like, I guess I lucked out with my apartment that the walls don't share. Like I share a wall with my bedroom, not the living room. So I'm like,
no, that's perfect.
Man,
for you.
this really worked out in my favor. Like someone could be just sitting there in an apartment just being like, yeah, he's yelling at some woman named Hannah every day.
I got in a lot of trouble actually because I called Hannah an idiot because Hannah's from Alabama, and I'm like, you're going to make that idiot have a baby? Like if she gets pregnant, whatever.
Well, I mean, she's allowed to have a baby. A lot of idiots have babies.
Totally. But one of our listeners got really, she was like, Remy, women on women crime, like, will never save us. And I'm like, totally. But I see her as an idiot first and a woman second.
Well, that to me, a woman on woman crime, so any woman is just not wrong unless, for being a woman.
I've made fun of so many reality men.
I think
Why wouldn't I hold women to the same accountability and standard?
Absolutely. To me, that's demeaning to women more
I think
than
it is too.
is
Oh, you have to
propping them
protect
up.
them? No.
You should have the ability to fail just as much and recover just as much as a woman.
Yeah.
As
And
a
we
man.
should have this equal amount of support too. Like,
Yeah, it's just, I mean, Hannah to me, I think is going to be a fun bachelorette. Like, I think she's actually for the show. Like, if you want an entertaining show, she produces the best type of show because she does fall hard.
Yeah,
she does.
yeah.
She felt like, if we want to talk about episode 2, Luke says "I love you" in the first 15 minutes,
and she's into it.
And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, and she is an idiot. But that's what makes the show entertaining to me. But she's also a bad example, I think, for other women. Like, you see, like, she seemingly, and I do think this all relates to being a beauty queen and a pageant person. Like, you relate to gushing. That's you know, winners get gushed after.
Yeah.
Losers do not. And what they're doing, like, she does a lot of stuff. I don't think she's a good role model as a measure of love.
But the thing is this is where I relate to Hannah. Is I fall in love at first sight, like, all the time. Not now because I'm in a relationship, but like, I feel that. I don't know. Maybe do you ever do that shit?
I mean, I just think that, like, now with the podcast and a lot of women sending their problems, like, I just have like I think I have a good sense of, like, overall things that are going on with dating, and it's a lot of women are putting their standards into men's hands. So instead of having their own standard, they're like, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. Does he like me? And it's like, well, you don't seem to like him. Like, all of these things are him not measuring up to your standards. So, like, when when you see Hannah go on TV and do that type of thing where she just is like, there's no discerning taste. Just like you said, a woman can go and be an idiot just like a man can be an idiot.
Yeah.
You're having taste about the matter. So for her, when he goes, I am falling with you, believe me, there should be one moment where she goes, we've only known each other a few minutes, but that is kind of weird. And like, there just seems to be no, like...
But what if she feels the same way? Like, do you think that there can be like a love at first sight thing?
That's kind of what I'm getting at, is where she could say, I know it feels wrong, but this actually feels so good to hear. Like, it plays... Getting told I love you by anyone plays to pleasure sensors. She's not an idiot for that. She's just human.
Right.
The thing that she never said was, this is all crazy.
That's a little
like, you just
insane.
want you want some, like, hey, I'm not making any decisions right now. I like Luke's gumption. I like that he's coming after me this way. But you also have to discern, like, a lot of men, their game is romantic. Their game, men with, like, there's certain types of game. There's game where it's like, like the negging. That's the one you hear about the most. Like because there was, like, that's stupid to me. But, like, there are guys going out there and being like,
works.
oh, look, just for
to some people.
For some guys, they don't neg. They flower. So they'll be like, this is, you'll hear women will write into the podcast and they'll be like, he said this and he said that and he said he'll talk about vacations that we should do. Yeah. And you're like, and I go, I understand he said all those things, but there's a lot of times I've said this and I'm guilty of it. I'm not saying I'm no hero in this. I'm just saying what I've done is what the next guy is doing.
Sure.
And made mistakes and admitted to those. But I do. You hear a lot. We should do this. Yeah. I know that feels good to hear. That plays to certain pleasure sensors.
Yeah.
We should go out. We should. Brunch. I love going to brunch.
Yeah.
Like, saying those things. We know that women like writing the story on the fly.
We love writing the story.
It's like,
we love where we met.
Oh
my God.
If it's a weird place to meet, now it's like a better relationship for some reason.
Yeah.
You hear it at every wedding.
Yeah.
It feels like at every wedding, like, it feels like every time a girl meets a guy, she tells one friend he's the one, just so that they'll tell the story at the wedding. Like, they're just spreading out he's the one stories amongst friends.
Funny.
It feels like that because you get that story at every wedding. You're like, not every girl knows.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. We're not
See,
that
but
different.
I think she's not saying it to one friend. Like, whenever I meet a guy that I fall in love with, I'm like, he's the one to all
to everybody,
of them.
yeah. So it's like if you're saying it to all everybody, if you have no taste,
Yeah.
you know, like
I have no taste. No,
that's, and men, you know, with dating, we get into subjects where like, you know, men live in fear of like a little bit of commitment because the fear is, and let's be fair to like men on that is, and watching Hannah, it doesn't really help this narrative is that could I have been anybody?
yeah. Oh, fuck.
Could I have been any just living soul who said I love you?
Whoa.
And you watch Hannah say that to Luke and you go, where's the taste? Where's the discerning?
Yeah, that's what you were saying with girls too. It's like your standard can't be, does he like me?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. You hear that a lot, and it's like, but I'm just going by the emails I get sent. Like
Totally. Well, because you become like a Dear Abby.
just a little bit, and
Like you're very good at advice. But we
I
talked about this, and you've said this, that it's harder to take the advice on your own podcast
Oh,
than you
absolutely. I mean,
dish.
advice is easy to give. You know,
Yeah.
like it's just like you can't tell someone how to feel. You can't push. You can't. Doing the hard thing is way easier to tell someone to do that. That's
Yeah.
why I think a lot of people write in is like, you know, I talk a lot about luxury issues. Like I don't really like. I'm not sitting there talking. We're talking about things that like are like 7th on the list of important things at a table group of people. So if like, you know, you could be like, he hasn't texted me back. What does it mean? Someone can go, yeah, fuck him, and then everyone moves on. And it's
Right.
like, I think the beauty of some of the, you know, of like, I don't call it really an advice podcast. I really think it's commiseration.
Yeah.
It's just hearing someone else go, yeah, that does fucking suck. And
Yeah.
when I've done that, it's because of blankety blank, or if when I've been that
Yeah.
guy who's texted that, it's been
This
for
is how I
this
felt about it.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's more of that than like, I don't know what to fucking do.
No, but it
You know,
becomes
like-
more of a conversation about relationships, obviously, because like we are all defining each other by who we're with or who likes us at the
Yeah.
time or like
That's-
how many people we're seeing or whatever.
Yeah. And
We
that's why
shouldn't.
No, you shouldn't.
shouldn't,
but I
it-
think
it's
that's
tough
what
not
we're
to do.
Yeah.
You know, like it becomes your like, I am this. I am with this person. People want teams. People want, you know, to know who's on the team.
Yeah.
They want to know where they stand, and a lot of it's gray areas. That's why back to Hannah. This is why I like her season, because
Yeah.
I think there's some glaring dating things going on. And what's interesting is there's definitely groups forming in the guys too. And and Hannah being from the South and coming from, you know, a background that is more conservative
Yeah.
and religious.
She's chosen a lot of religious guys, and one of
Lot of
them
religious
referred
dudes.
to the drag queens as the drags.
Did he really?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
missed
was
that.
like,
That's
did
funny.
they not get any sensitivity training? Like,
The drags is
I had
funny.
a really great time with the drags today.
To me, that's not hateful.
No, it's just uninformed.
Yeah, the drags. I think that could
They're
be
not
one of
a
those
drag.
things.
They're a real fun time.
I love that the first one was like, it was a surprise, you know, like you have this like conservative bachelorette with this like very conservative group of guys.
Yeah,
that,
they're like, bring out Alyssa Edwards, Alaska, and Miss J. Alexander, like who you don't know unless you watched all the seasons of Top Model.
We have.
I wish Miss J. You see Miss J walk out, and I was like, I can't. The best is, I just wish there was a flash cut of every Miss J facial expression at
Yeah.
the guys.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I was like, it was great. I'm a huge Bachelorette fan.
Have you
So,
always loved female targeted content?
I would always sit with friends. I had a lot of like female friends growing up, and like I would always, and also like anyone I've dated, I've like sat and watched their shows, and
Yeah.
like I like reality TV just in general. Like I don't really scripted TV. I'm okay with. I just don't have the patience for it. I don't have the.
You're like, I just want to see
Attention
bright
span.
colors and people yelling.
Yeah,
that's how I feel.
I like, you know, and people are like, oh, it's scripted too, reality TV, but I'm like, yeah, but it's scripted reality. Like there's
Yeah.
like you know, these are the new, you know, if you watch the Kardashians, they're just doing old sitcom plot lines.
Sure.
So like Kristen Knows Best is the most hacky at it.
Yeah.
So they'll go, the grandma doesn't get it, and I'm dad, and I got to meet the boyfriend.
Yeah, and on the Kardashians, they're like, let's go prank mom today. We'll take her dry cleaning.
Exactly.
Does your current girlfriend watch these
She
shows
watches like
as well?
Kardashians and
Because Charlotte,
the Housewives.
whenever I get in a fight with Ben, which is not often, but sometimes we'll get in a fight, she'll be like, write a pros and cons list. Tell me like 2 things you love about Ben. And I'm like, one of the things is I love that he watches my shows with me.
Yeah.
Because I always think, I don't know, like there's something about breaking a man. No, I'm just kidding. There's something about getting them to admit that they like stuff that is similar to you.
Yeah. I think like also these shows, the beauty of these shows and what I like about them, they to make this Jewy, they promote kibitzing.
Yeah, a lot of
talking about it. They want discussion. They want online discussion.
Yeah.
Like they want people to go, what do you think about the situation that Chloe was in?
And
what
guys,
how would you do?
most of the time, guys don't want to have those conversations. They're like, let's just shut that down. Why do we want to hear about these people squawking? But we're like, we want to hear how people talk about issues. I want to hear how women in Texas are doing it versus Beverly Hills versus New York.
Yeah.
And like, you're one of the we don't have a ton of podcasts or shows with a solid, straight male perspective being vulnerable.
Sure.
And that's something that you are really doing.
I'm trying, I don't think I'm trying for it, but like, that's just what's been fun for me to do. I do. I mean, like I've been doing like with girls I dated and friends of mine. I'd always watch those shows, and like I'm just like I consider myself the worst person to watch TV with because I can't shut up. I'm just like sitting there being like, what? And that's why I started I would start live tweeting The Bachelorette and The Bachelor. And then it was just my brother and I. We lived together, and we were 2 straight dudes sitting shirtless on the couch, yelling at The Bachelor. And then we were like, and then he moved down. He moved, and then I was on my own, and I started. And then Instagram comes up, Instagram stories, and I started doing like TV shows or movies on Instagram stories. And I was like, okay, so I'll start doing The Bachelor, Bachelorette, and now I'm like fully doing it on The Bachelorette, But it's like that's what I would do with friends.
Right.
Like I would just yell at the TV and be annoying.
And you said like the reason you started your podcast, or one of them, is that you wanted to help people.
Yeah, make them feel less alone.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what we liked.
Yeah, that makes me sound like
too squishy,
too nice. But I
true.
like the what was happening was J Train podcast was like basically called the TFM podcast, and I was like sending your emails because there's a podcast I listen to that has emails at the end, so I was like, I'll read them at the end. They'll be listener mail. And they started asking questions because I was writing for Total Frat Move, so they kind of like, I think they trusted the voice that I was writing under. Yeah. And I would just start answering them, and then it turned into, we were getting so many emails that it just turned into like, I'll just keep answering the questions. And then it's a Dear Abby for Dudes was way back. Now, over the course of time, like women have found it. I understand like the barriers to entry for women I get, where it's like, first of all, it's called J Train. Yeah. It's a dude giving advice. Like, and they're like, well, what the fuck does he know? Yeah. And then you give it a shot. And
but it's
people
less
seem
advice and more what you're saying of like, this is where I'm coming from, because in the moments where I've ghosted someone, this is why I was doing it.
Yes.
So that's like an honest perspective from someone who's not going to bullshit, doesn't have you in the room while he's giving you like
that's hard too.
hardcore advice.
Yeah, because with the like, well, I did a J Train live podcast and I didn't like it. I was like, I didn't really like. I was like, we have to turn this more into a show. So we've created like, because just answering people's questions, it just wasn't fun.
Yeah, it's not fun to be like, he doesn't like you, to a room of like 600 women.
Sure.
So she walks back crying.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I'm glad I paid for this ticket.
Well, it was like a lot of women just looking at me like in horror. Like they were like, because you were giving them this advice, and like, so then I was like, we got to create bits around the advice. So we've like got like different like, now we do like, dating app makeovers, and we do deal.
That's unreal.
Yeah, we take people's profiles and put them up on the big screen.
Do you know the secret of how to make a good dating profile?
I know the general thing is men are too cocky, women aren't cocky enough. So like women are kind of hiding in their profile, where men are like really fucking out. Men look like they're rushing a fraternity. Yeah, it's like,
this is a fish I caught.
Exactly,
it's huge.
That's just like the
Here's
fish
me
example.
At Machu Picchu.
Yeah, it's just like the shirts
with my boys.
Yeah,
if you don't love dogs, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, it's just too much. It's like, I wouldn't want that guy in my fraternity even. And it's like, so a lot of the men ones are the most fun to make over, because it's a room full of women with a dude on stage, and like they also like guys are just easier, like better at taking shit. There's more to give a shit about.
Yeah.
The women ones, they're small fixes, but they're fixes. Like there's like, and you know, I'm not making them feel bad. You just like everyone looks good. Like there's no picture that you're like, yeah, you know, like it's not like, but it's more like subtle fixes. Like the one fix, like that I think is interesting is like there's a girl yesterday. She sent me. She was like, "Do you think this is too much for a dating app profile?"
Yeah.
And then it was a video of her dancing kind of sexy in front of a DJ booth, and she's undoing her pants.
Oh gosh.
Jeans. She's wearing jean shorts, and she's undoing her jean shorts, and then she takes them off, and it reveals another pair of jean shorts.
Okay.
So it's funny.
Yeah.
But I was like, you have to understand the beast that you're fighting.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going. Don't go to a lion cage and complain about getting bit by a lion.
Yeah.
So you walk into the lion
That's
cage.
going to make it a more undesirable experience on the app for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Guys are going to come in sex first, even if it's a funny joke about the pants.
Yeah.
It's going to be at the pants, and guys
About
don't go.
the pants.
Yeah. It's not. Guys don't go down from sexual. They
Right,
go up. They
right.
heighten.
Yeah.
So if a guy sees an opening, and I'm not in like,
In her
God,
pants.
you're not going to change men for
Yeah.
right now. We're like we can worry about the horrors of how men act on these apps. Yes, but if you're going to be on the apps right now, and you put on one of you taking off your pants, dancing sexy, where it reveals another pants, you're going to get a guy talking about something sexual.
Yeah.
And then it's going to start at that.
Also, that assumes that he watched the whole video. Like, he might have just watched the first sexy thing, and then he'll go in with an even more crude comment. And that makes you not want to really return to the app, and it, like, clouds your judgment of, all the guys on here are shitbags.
Yeah, and it's like, and yeah, that's a big thing, because then you're going through the mess of shitbags. You're trying to wade through a mountain of shitbags to get to a needle.
Like, really cheap clothing stores where you just really have to dig through the racks to find something good. Once you find something good, you're like, I'm happy I came here, but that was a lot of effort.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's that. I think also like we just had a like an anthropologist on You Up, and that's the other podcast, and that will come out next week. But she worked for Match, so
Helen Fisher.
Yeah,
we had her.
Did you have
She's
her?
the best.
She's the
So
best.
she was really good
Love
and
her.
positive and fun. But the one thing she called them introduction apps. Which
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's a better way of looking at it, because a lot of people are let down. They're like, you get the question a lot of like, why did he disappear over the app? And it's like, the conversation ran its course. That's it. Done. It's okay. But like, why didn't the person? You would never ask that of someone you met in a bar.
Right.
If you met someone in a bar and then they went to the bathroom and never showed up again, you go, oh, that's weird. That guy just disappeared. You'd be like, yeah.
I think the reason is, and you've said this, is that people will look at an app. You see a guy, you're like, okay, he checks all these boxes. I'm going to go look at his Instagram, and now I'm in love with him. We're going to get married. And you set that up in you've had more information about them.
Yeah.
And also they have more information about you. And you're like, wait, so he just doesn't like my information anymore?
Sure. Yeah, it's just easy to get away from yourself.
Yeah.
And we all do it. I was when I was on these apps, I was looking people up all the time, and knowing a lot about them and being like, okay, well, these all things would work for me. And then I would get in my head like, and women don't really see it this way, but a lot of guys are like, well, now we'd have to date. And guys are thinking that way. That's an
you're
ego
like,
thing.
well, she's perfect for me, so now we have to date.
Now it has to be. It can't just be a casual thing for 6 months, and then we'll see.
Yeah.
This is going to get real right away, and I'm not ready for that.
And then I'll have ties to her.
Exactly.
I'll have to see her around.
And now everyone's disposable. There's more people like that out there, so you're like, ugh, I don't even want to deal with this, and you've not even been on a first date. Like,
how did you meet your current girlfriend then?
At a show. She was, but she did. It was
But
like
she wasn't like a fan of yours.
No, it was a random show, and was asked if I was hosting, and just asked if I was, am I really single and Jewish? And I was like, I am both of those things. And then I left, and then she was still, and then I left to do another show, and I came back, and she was still there hanging out, so we got a drink or whatever. But it was very, her and I.
That's more organic.
It was more organic, and I think a lot of people are like, first date, second date, third date. What are we now? What's going on? Are you in the Instagram picture? And like ours was very. Like, she could have broken up with me 7 different times before we even started dating.
Yeah.
If you gave it the rules. Hold on, someone's dying.
Literally, though, that's
They
what it
always
means.
are.
in
Yeah,
this
well, this is
neighborhood.
Upper East Side. You
Yeah.
kidding? So there's so many times that if held to the standard that a lot of girls are looking at guys on date 1, 2, 3, I would have been gone. And I probably would have been gone myself. I just would have been like, I'm not up for this type of meeting. I'm not up
Okay.
for this type of thing where it's like we're on a schedule and by the third date we're having sex, and the fourth date we're gonna do a dinner but we're gonna meet a couple friends. Like I just wasn't up for that. Not everyone's up for that schedule and that type of meeting. And I think like again,
Well, not everybody's even up for dinner. Like if you're not a type of person who likes to go to dinner, you're not going to like going to dinner with a new person that you don't know.
Sure, but I do understand where it's like you want someone to just make the effort.
Yes.
But I mean, even she'll go, we haven't even, when's the date? Like she'll say that to me. I mean, I understand. Like we haven't gone for dinner in like 3 weeks, and I'll go,
Yeah.
okay, well, yeah, we'll figure something out. But I do understand like liking getting a plan and having those things happen. I just think like if you, again, it's back to the standards thing.
Yeah.
Are you happy? Are you enjoying this person's company? Is the headache worth the fun?
Right.
And it
Is the
can't
fun
be,
worth the headache?
Yeah, is the fun
Yeah.
worth the headache,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
headache
yeah,
worth the
yeah,
fun?
yeah.
Whatever it is. And then you can't, if you're not doing that math for yourself and it's only, well, they like me, they'll go out with me. It's like, do you even like this person? You know.
Yeah.
So
Right.
The one thing with dating apps I do think is tough, like you were saying, Helen Fisher calls them introduction apps, is I'll like someone kind of thoughtlessly,
Sure.
and then sometimes like we'll match, then I get a message and I just never respond. And
Yeah.
I feel so bad, but like there's no reason. It's not like they did anything, or I just I changed my
Yeah,
mind.
but there is a reason. Like, don't give yourself more credit. in
You're
that. Like,
talking to other people. You've got other shit going on.
yeah, this person, you liked them enough to think, oh, they're cute.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And then they came and talked to you, and what we do on these apps, though, it's like we think it's like one time you like someone. No,
Yeah, no.
every time you come back to the profile, you're deciding
Yep.
you're deciding to swipe right or left.
Exactly.
It's not that initial swipe is just the initial. You keep doing that. We do that in our everyday lives. Like
Yeah.
it's like, and I think like.
It's like Moby being like, Natalie Portman and I dated. She's like, I said hi once.
I didn't see that story.
You
Is that-
didn't? Oh, yeah. That's
What
it.
happened?
He claims they dated. She said no. And he dug up like one creepy photo of them together. That's all I know about it.
Oh my god!
But I think a lot of girls be like, what did
We
I say
dated.
wrong? What did I do?
What-
It's like,
yeah.
sometimes
It just didn't work.
It didn't
out.
work.
It wasn't
Yeah.
a match.
Yeah.
It's this whole thing is. It's so weird to say it this way, but it's all less personal than we all want to believe.
100%.
You know, like
Yeah.
there was a girl that came up to me last night, and she was asking me. She like met this guy on an app, and then they went. He was going for a run, and she's like, "Well, I'm out for a run." And he's like, "Well, come meet up." And she's like, "I don't know if I want to go meet up this guy." What, she's like hemming and hawing over whether.
Yeah.
And then she said, "Well, he kept texting. He was so insistent on meeting up that I was like, fine, I'll go see him." And I walk up to him. He's wearing these rollerblades, and he's got this big bright, fanny pack. And I'm like, all right. And she like got there, and she was like made fun of like the outfit, and I was like, that's great. And she goes, and then he disappeared.
What?
I was like,
On his rollerblades?
yeah,
He bladed away.
just skated away.
Yeah.
And she was like, what do you think it was? And I go, she goes, and I go, well, don't take it so personally. I'm going to tell you right now. I go, the first instinct is to go, he saw me and was like, ew.
Yeah.
That's not really what it is. Like, that's
Yeah.
if you've swiped someone and everyone, the big noise is like, oh, the pictures don't match with it.
Yeah.
It's enough of that. No one's like going, I can't believe, it's not that
yeah.
far away. To me, he's dating a lot of different people. Okay?
Yeah.
The reason he pushed so hard to see you in the park, to me, it's to have a quick meeting to keep you involved for maybe a
On his
hookup
roster.
later on a roster of
Like
some
orbiting?
sort. What is that one?
Orbiting is when you just like keep following somebody on social media and like just stay around in their life and like shit occasionally so that like you're still like kind of around but you're not actually around. Charlotte liked your term, the alley-oop.
Oh, it's
The
my
hookup
favorite.
alley-oop.
It's
Yeah,
the
that's
best, most
you.
accurate thing ever. Can you tell people what that is?
So the hookup alley-oop is when you're dating someone and it's going to end, and then someone is like getting in contact with you and you don't exactly say that you're dating someone, so you're setting them up to hook up when you are eventually broken up.
Yeah.
So you haven't cheated. So it's your relationship self. The alley-oop in basketball is when someone throws up the ball and another person dunks the ball.
Yep.
So you're throwing the ball to your single self
In the
to
future.
slam, in the
To
future
like-
to slam dunk
Yeah.
later in time, the hookup alley-oop.
Do you think people can also do that when they're on the other side? So say they're into someone who's in a relationship.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I
They-
think that's orbiting though. Like when
Yeah.
somebody's in a
That's more
relationship,
orbiting to
it's
me,
like,
yeah.
They're
They're like,
also,
they're in a relationship. I'm going to stick around. I don't think this is going to. I mean, there's a Seinfeld episode about this exact premise.
Yeah.
Where they're like, I've been waiting out this marriage for years.
Yeah.
Now you can wait out a marriage
and watch
from front row seats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
and you know, Instagram it makes this all a lot tougher. You know, there's a lot of hard truths that people don't want to hear with Instagram. Why do guys watch my story? We hooked up once and they watched for the rest of my life.
What does
Please
that
answer
mean?
that.
They're masturbating to your profile.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Is that no? But that's flattering.
I mean, well, because
thank you.
so I've been thinking about this a lot because women keep asking this, and I go, if I always have to put things in me terms, so it makes me look like a disgusting pig.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, when you are on Instagram, the one that comes to the story that comes to the front, or the first three, are the ones you're touching the most. Okay,
exactly.
Whether and masturbating is fine. I'll call it masturbating to just make it simpler, but they're touching
getting
your
enjoyment from your stories.
They're going to but not even stories. They're going to your account. They're searching you out specifically to look at. So in their Rolodex of, I'm going to do 20 minutes on Instagram at night before I go to bed, they're going through a few profiles that they check in on. Yours happens to be at that one of those profiles. We know this because there's a bouncer at the front of stories that every time someone is hot, shows up to the club, they go, you're the front of the line.
Yeah.
Because then your thing goes to the front. Every time you add to your story, yours goes to the front because you've been touched the most. So it's and it's not that they want to date again. It's that they're just curious and they're attracted to you, and they were attracted to you, but not enough to date, not enough to keep going out with you.
And not enough to reach out.
Exactly. So
Like if they've never reached out and they're only watching your stories.
yeah, some people, we have to also come to terms with the fact that some people only want to get off so much with you. Like getting the match was enough for some people.
Yeah.
The feeling of dopamine that you said you were hot enough to match with, that's all I needed to know.
Yep.
I don't want to date you.
No, I just
wanna
like to know
if
that
you'll
you're
fuck
out
me.
there in the world and that you would. And that feeds me.
And that feeds me enough to not need to go further.
Yeah.
And-
Because I know that basically I've already checked you off.
Yes.
Like I could if I
could
wanted
if I
to.
would. And it's for men, that's like an ego thing where it's
Yeah.
like knowing that you're like, oh, this girl thinks I'm attractive. That's all I needed.
What if
I didn't
somebody's
need the
watching
date.
your story all the time and then suddenly stops?
They're trying to get off the drug. I think that they're just going, I don't think it's again, not personal. They're just,
Okay.
that's for them. Everyone cares about themselves first.
Okay.
So they're probably saying, man, I watch this person's story all the fucking time. I need to get out of here. I need
Yeah.
to stop. I'm this person.
Yeah.
That's them having a moment of clarity and
Yeah.
willpower. So it's just not about you.
How many people, you're not single now, but how many people do you think you were cycling through normally? Like in those 20 minutes
I wasn't.
for the day.
I'm still looking at old girlfriends and
Sure.
old relationships.
Yeah.
I'm not above that. I
Yeah.
don't think any of us are. I think our parents' generation and the generations before that are somewhat lucky to be able to run into an ex and never think about that again. And have your parents running into an ex still had the 15 minutes of could I, did I, should I?
yeah.
And they only had to have the 15 minutes. They're lucky to only have we have to have daily reminders. Could I, should I, would I?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like, I do, some people who disconnect, I'm like, I don't blame them. Like
Yeah,
I tell
that's
a lot of people, I'm
healthy for
like,
you.
yeah, it's healthy. It's healthy for most people. If you can look at someone's profile and go, yeah, they're cute, they're fun, but it wasn't the right match for me. And then go and not pursue that. Like that's a healthy amount of curiosity to me. If you're a person who keeps getting it looked at and it's affecting you that they're looking at it, maybe it's time to block that person.
Yeah.
And that's not about them. It's not personal. If they were to reach out to you and go, hey,
What did
why'd
I
you
do?
block me? What did I do? You go, no, I'm trying to let go of you.
Yeah.
I think that's a vulnerable and okay thing to say, that people are kind of afraid of what the other side thinks. And it's not really, that doesn't matter that much, I don't think.
It could even be somebody like, and I've said this before, like I'll mute some of my closest friends
Sure.
or family members because I'm like, I don't like you on social and I want to maintain our relationship in real life.
Yeah. I mean,
And if you guys are bothered by my social, please mute me. Don't unfollow.
yeah, on that end, like to me, I'm like, that with that stuff, I'm a little less clear about with like someone, like you couldn't, like, you know, with like Twitter, you're like, you couldn't handle opinions that you didn't think I thought this way. Like, I'm like,
or you're getting a lot of success or something.
Sure.
You know, and you're like,
Like,
yeah, I love you and I'm happy for you, but this is making me think how far along in life I am.
sure, it affects you more than
Yeah.
I understand that.
Ooh, it's okay.
Sorry, I just spilled my water.
There was a flood here 2 weeks ago. Everything's already wet.
flood. Yeah.
It's water. It
And
dries.
in an apartment?
Yeah, I was insane.
That can happen?
Pipe burst, yeah.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. So I do understand though, like keeping your own sanity through blocking other people. It's not about them. You know, it's like about getting yourself healthy and feeling good.
Yeah. You guys talk about red flags and deal breakers a lot.
Sure.
Would you ever see someone's social as a red flag or
Yeah, I would see it as I think someone's social media could be a red flag deal breaker, like a deal breaker for sure. Thank you. I think you can look at someone and go, oh, this is what's important to you.
Yeah.
You know, like I could see someone looking at mine going, fuck this. And I'm
Right.
like, okay, cool. You know, like that's fine.
Totally.
We have to admit to social media being a part of our lives or else we'll all go crazy and the crazy people take over to me.
Yeah.
If you don't admit to it, like I put up a lot of stuff where I'll make fun of people, general people on my Instagram who are on Instagram. So like, and then, like I wrote something like, it was National Pizza Party Day, and which is different than National Pizza Day.
Yeah.
So I was like, just an FYI, National Pizza Day is when one hot chick eats a slice of pizza. National Pizza Party Day is when a group of hot chicks split a pie.
Yeah.
That was like the premise.
But they're
Yeah.
all pretending to eat it.
Yeah, they're
just
pretending to eat the
photographing
pizza.
it.
Yeah.
It's just a big photo shoot with a pizza, with a fake slice, you know?
Yeah.
And someone commented, oh, so you hate women. You hate
What?
women having fun. And I was like, I roll first. And then I was like, that like to me is like, that's someone who doesn't want to admit to what's going on social media. You're going to let the people with the fake people. If you don't make fun
You're
of
not
these
saying
people.
all women.
No, I'm
You're
saying
saying the women
there's
who
a-
do that.
There's a group of people
Yeah.
that are putting up a certain type of picture to get a certain type of label,
Yeah.
to be a certain type of thing to their followers so that they're not just hot chick on
Sure.
Instagram, which men do it too, but men aren't getting as many followers for being hot men on. It's just the reality.
Yeah, if I tried to find like a hot butt man model, it would be hard.
You could find it, but it won't have as many followers as the hot
dude's
women.
selling fit tea out here?
Sure.
Let me at him.
Exactly. Well, the thing is, there's not like men follow hot women and
Yeah.
women follow hot women.
Yeah.
You know, so like
Yeah.
there's not a lot of like male Instagram influencers that like are getting both men and women to follow them.
Yeah.
That's tough to do.
That's true.
But the point of it is to say, if we don't make fun of them or at least ball bust a little, I have the belief that becomes the reality. That these pizza people, if we're not outward, like it may, these pizza people at least follow them with a little sense of like irony to it.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you did this to keep up a certain brand that you're. I'm funny, hot chick.
Yeah.
You know.
Totally. We're going to take a little break because people at Nanny's house are making noise. But we're going to go sit on my Helix, give Jared a nice little try.
Sure.
Just a nice little time to relax.
Just
and
take
get
a
away
little
from the
reprieve
noise.
in the room. So we'll be right back. Ah, what a nice little relaxing reprieve.
It was so nice. It was hard not to fall asleep.
Yeah.
You guys, Helix mattresses, they're the most comfortable place when the women in your house are making a lot of noise transporting your grandmother. I like to go to my Helix when I'm very stressed, when I'm tired, or when I just want to have a nice time and watch some TV, which, you know, Jared and I talk about a lot. And we spend most of our time laying in bed and watching TV.
Sure.
There's no better place to do that from your Helix mattress.
It's true.
Do you not have a Helix mattress?
That's crazy.
Well, you got to go change that.
Yeah, take that 2-minute sleep quiz because it'll match you to your perfect mattress based on your body type and sleep preferences.
Yep. If you're in a relationship, they also do sleep quizzes that ask about your partner's body type and their weight.
And the bed splits down the middle.
Yep.
So you can have each person's needs met.
Or you can even try their side and be like, your needs are not my needs.
I like my needs better.
Yeah. Everyone's different, you guys, but go figure out which Helix is right for you. Go to helixsleep.com/howcome. They're offering up to $125 off every order. And this is really cool. They give us a little teeny percentage of your order. So by buying a mattress, not only are you getting an amazing sleep, but you're also supporting this podcast that you love so much.
So great. So yeah. Get up to $125 off at helixsleep.com/howcome.
That is helixsleep.com/howcome
For up to
$125 off of any order.
any mattress order. You got it. And have the best sleep of your life. Or the best sex of your life. Because they've been rated for having the best mattress for sex too.
Totally. If you also want to support the podcast and you don't have any money to buy a mattress right now, don't worry about that. Just go on your iTunes app and rate and review us.
Yeah.
Leave a 5-star rating and a review, and the review will go to the top, and then we'll screenshot it and we'll be like, oh my God, we love you so much. But yeah, that really helps us out, and we love ya. So let's get back to the pod. What are the questions that people are usually sending in about sex?
That it's boring.
That it's boring?
I think that's a big thing, telling their partner
How,
what they want. How do I get, we've had, we get some sexual emails. Mm-hmm. They're usually amongst we do an awkward sex of the week on You Up, and people just send like fun, bad hookup stories, which is fun. And then we decide whether we would do it or not. Okay. And then, but like the sex ones, a lot of them were couples where it's like, hey, he asked for this, or it's just a miscommunication of what people are looking for.
There was one that struck us that it was like a girl wanted a guy to come in a certain way and he like couldn't do it. And you were like, you can't fix the penis, or you can't like train the penis to do stuff that it's not trained to do. And
he wouldn't come. She was like, I'm really good at blowing someone, but
he could only do it himself.
He could only do it himself. Yeah.
He's like, let me blow myself.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. He took out a rib. He's Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
It was, that is interesting because women take it personally. When a guy doesn't come, they'll go, well, what did I do? And it's like,
everybody takes it personally.
I guess you're right. Men
do
take
you?
I take it. I mean, I think I've gotten older. I'm like fine with it. Like sometimes I've had girls say to me, it's just not going to happen. And I go, okay, like what can you do? Like I mean, like it's not like I didn't try, and it's not like I didn't do my best. It's not like I'm here to take direction. Like I'm here to listen and do the things that you're looking for me to do. Like I'm all about that. I think like in my mind, I'm always like, well, I mean, I'm doing what as long as you say it feels good. If you say like, I think if you're saying it feels good and it doesn't,
that's a problem.
Then it's like, but that's also your problem for not saying anything.
No,
like I'm always like, if that was me, if you were biting my dick, I would go, you're biting my fucking dick.
Like, I love that. Do that more.
Yeah. This is uncomfortable to say. I understand that, but like, it's also like, if I don't say, it's my fault.
Right. Totally.
I think I've been trying to talk a lot about this on stage and just on the podcast. It's like, it's funny. The most progressive women are not as are not accepting of male sexuality as they would make you believe. So like I told my girlfriend I wanted a finger in the butt during a blowjob. Yeah. And she was like, and then like the word got around, discussed it with friends, which I'm totally fine. I get that. I'm pretty open about fingers in the butt. Yeah. And I'm like, I've referred to myself as the Rosa Parks of male ass play in the past, so I'm okay with it. But it was interesting.
You'll only do it in the front of the bus?
That's right. That's right. I will sit where I want.
And I will be sitting on your finger.
Yeah, exactly. But it was interesting to me that these are working.
Yes.
Women who are
Yeah.
in these times of social whatever's going on.
Yeah.
And these aren't subjects that I really get into a lot, but I'm like, it's so funny to me that like the most progressive of women are like, what?
Yeah.
And it's like, this is so backwards.
You can't
to me.
have it both ways where it's like you need to be accepting of all of me, but the second you give me something I don't like, I'm going to tell
Well, then
everyone
it's like, well,
and
why do you
shame
like
you.
that?
And, yeah.
Are you like, does this mean you're gay? And it's like, you've gone,
No.
what are you in the fit? Like all of a sudden,
Yeah.
this subject though brings women back to like more hateful times.
Totally.
And I've seen it. I talk about it on stage and I sit, cause I'll talk about like, I use a vibrator with my girlfriend and then they'll go, like, women will go, woo! And then I'm like, and I want a finger on the butt. And they'll go, And it's like, it's like the
thanks,
same
buddy.
women who wooed
Yeah.
who are like, vibrator time!
Yeah.
Playing guitar with their own vibrator in the seats.
Yeah.
Are now being like, well, is there something you need to talk about? Do you not like your dad? Like,
Yeah.
it becomes like a bigger thing where it's like, no, I've had, for a lot of men deal with that, where you'll be with your boyfriend, and I know how the conversation goes because I've had it with girlfriends my whole life.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? Missionary. That's how it goes.
Right.
Like it's two people who are kind of like dancing around that they both want to be more with each other, but they don't know what to do. Like I don't,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of guys deal with the idea, and I've talked about this before, where here's the difference to me is if we were all in a bar and someone walked in and they were like, and this girl walked in and she was angry at me and she was like, Jared Freid likes a finger in the butt. The bar would be like, oh my, like everyone would clutch their pearls, and the world would end.
Yeah.
If the reverse happened and you and I are hanging out and someone walked in and they were like, Remy likes a finger in the butt.
Yeah.
All the men would be like, trying to get your number.
100%.
So she's sexually free. She's open. And it's like
Most buttholes are pretty similar.
male G-spot in the
Yeah.
butthole, so they say.
What's crazy is we were talking reality TV on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills last week. Camille Grammer was talking about how Kelsey liked his prostate massage, and she's like, what I had to do was go in and whatever. And these women all acted like aghast. And these are people who have brought ball gags to dinner as a gift.
This is amazing because I didn't see this episode, but I had heard that this was a discussion. Someone tweeted at me about it because I'm at the forefront.
Yeah,
of the
because
subject.
you're
apparently.
anal boy now.
Yeah, right. It's interesting that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
though. Like that show. I mean, again, that show creating conversation. That to me is like those women. Remember when they isn't that the same show that like when Trump became president, they had like a whole episode where they were like, like if someone died.
New York.
Was that with New
York
York?
Housewives, yeah.
That was like. But I'm saying these
a little
housewives
more politically inclined on the East Coast.
Hilarious though to me that like. That they're like that subject, tears and crying, and then it's like,
But then it comes to
Kelsey Grammer likes a finger in the butt. And it's like, oh my.
No, but it's like if we expect people to be sensitive to female sensitivity, we have to be sensitive to male sensitivity and not put you guys in like this box. So
it's just an unfair position because you're asking. We're in a time we're asking men to like, redefine the rules of being a man. Okay. And
women to redefine our rules too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But if you look at how the rules are being redefined for women, it's all positive and go get them and you're lead the office. And I'm not saying that I'm like with that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're asking men to like have a total, like the redefinition of man. And I'm not saying better or worse. I'm just saying it's a different thing.
Well, we're like, you can cry.
You can cry. You can stay at home while I go make money, and then well, my dad made money, and now I look like I'm a loser to my dad.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like this whole idea of, and I just think there's not a lot of because they're like, well, we're bringing down the patriarchy. You guys are all evil, and it's like there's just less empathy given because they're like. Well, you've had it good for so long. It's like,
right.
Yeah, I didn't have it good. I watched I grew up during the same time as you, and we watched the same Magic School Bus episodes. Like we were all in it there. I was, reading Rainbow. We all had the same thing. So it's like, it's interesting in the sex conversation, at least other conversation, but it's like that one where you're like, oh yeah, it's so funny to see the minute you want it all until it gets a little awkward, and then you're like, oh, you're not as progressive as you thought you were.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's so important to have guys like you talking about this stuff though, so openly, because I think, women can have our opinions, but it's going into an echo chamber. If guys are being vulnerable about it and talking about fingers and butts and all that, like, that's when I think change starts to happen. Yeah,
and you try to make it as fun as possible, but it's like, I do understand there's a certain type that I'm sure these people are out there that have listened to my show and they're like, fuck this guy. Yeah. And I totally understand that. And they're like, this guy, because you're hearing someone I think it's like, in my mind, I'm being so honest. It's progressive. Like I'm not. I don't want to hide the truth from anyone because, as gross as it may come off, like to say to someone, "Yeah, guys are masturbating your Instagram profile." That's a gross thing to hear, and it's a way you might look at men differently, or it might be like the men in my life don't do that. And it's like, okay, yeah. or it's like, every guy is 100% away from me.
There are a few like rules you have that are great, like the 10% rule.
What is the 10% rule?
The 10% is everyone's 10% away from me. That's what it is. Like if I give an answer, most people, me and you, like we're like if someone doesn't text back, they're doing it for 10% away from the reason you don't text back.
Right.
So it's like whatever your feeling is, like we like to like live in the outliers. Like if you think of like a bell curve, there's the big fat part of the graph, and then there's the outliers on the outside. We all believe in the outliers. Oh, they've been in the subway for 3 days. That's why they haven't texted back. Like
he's dead.
Yeah, he's dead. Like something crazy's happened. No, it's probably closer to the thing you're doing when you don't respond. So that's the 10% rule. You can believe that, or you can believe in reality.
When was the first time that you discovered you liked a finger in the ass? Ooh. Was it someone else's finger or your own?
It was someone else's finger.
Okay.
It was, we were just fucking around. We were, drunk and high, and let's put a fucking finger in the butt. It was just.
She initiated?
I'm trying to think. There was one time I asked a girl for it, and she like got it. She was like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh, too soon." I think it wasn't a surprise. I don't remember the first time, but I know it's never been like, whoa, it wasn't it's never like that. But I was like, it was always like on the, like, I think I was doing it to a girl who liked it, and that
she was like,
I was like, well, good for you, good for me.
Reciprocity.
So I think that's kind of what it was, and like. And then, like, the girl on Girls is doing, having her butt licked. And I'm like, okay, maybe that's, let's all take it. Again, it goes back to that conversation of like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? Missionary.
Totally.
So it's like finally someone broke.
I love Missionary. You get to look at them and kiss.
Perfect.
So nice.
Sensual.
They're doing all the work, essentially.
That's right. You just hang there, starfish.
I love it. No, I'll never starfish. Always a little Jane Fonda lift of the hips.
Okay, there we go.
Were you always sexually in touch with yourself? Were you masturbating early?
No. I was not really. Like, I was probably a late bloomer. Like, I didn't lose my virginity until I was like 19. Like, it wasn't like to me, like I wasn't like rolling through high school. Like, for men, I think like in high school, like there was a very big, like you knew the people who had sex and who hadn't.
Yeah.
Like you were kind of like still on Virgin Island. And and then every day someone new gets rescued.
Voted off. Yeah.
And you're like, just like, oh my God, I'm going to have to start eating sand to stay alive. So, I wasn't, like, I remember I didn't even watch porn videos until after college.
Interesting.
Like, I remember I was still, masturbating to still lifes. Like, like I remember there was a time before I started comedy. Yeah, fruit bowl, whatever. Before I started doing comedy, I was sitting in a room with like a bunch of friends, and they were all talking about like what sites they liked. And I was like, I don't even go to these sites. And they're like, what are you doing? I was like, I don't know, like pictures, like like Maxim. I don't know. Like I was like, I didn't know how to like. And then they're like, no, and then then I figured out the videos, and I was like. went away for a week and then came back. Came back
informed.
sweaty. Like, no, wow, there's a lot out there. Yeah.
It's like those people who die playing video games, like World of Warcraft. They're just like, I forgot to eat.
just didn't even know. Yeah, no, I think like if you talk about sex stuff or like are just open to like have the conversation, people think like also like I speak to a lot of women, so like I'm giving advice to women about sex and dating and relationships and why guys are trying to fuck you, and it's like that makes it sound like that's all I do.
Yeah.
But that's not. I'm just referencing when I've been those times in my life. I'm just going back to being honest about the feelings I've had, or like where I'm like especially when a girl writes in and is like, yeah, this guy does this and that, and I'm like, well, he's trying to have sex with you without commitment, and then like now it sounds like that's all I do, and it's like that. I get how that's confusing, but that's
totally
not really, yeah.
Do you remember the first time you ever like successfully orgasmed?
Successfully orgasmed.
Like most guys don't even come; they just kind of feel the feeling.
I think I felt the feeling.
Yeah,
and then I was like, I was a pillow humper. I did that stuff. So I remember like you go from pillow humping with nothing. There's the feeling. To now it's like, oh, we have made a mess. Yeah, clean this up right now. So I remember that being a transitional. Yeah, especially when you're like 13, and then you're like, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, we can't do this anymore. We need a more efficient way.
There's a whole nother part of the process.
Yeah,
now.
There's a whole. Yeah, you got to find something. Yeah, put an old underwear underneath all your old sweaters.
I know you discussed queefing a good amount. Yeah. We haven't discussed it enough. We left it like after the first episode. We were like, queefing's fine. Fuck you. Goodbye.
Yeah.
What do you think from a guy's perspective?
Well, I just didn't realize how it even happened. I didn't realize
that
it was like,
we don't do it by ourselves. It's the air that you push in.
Well, then it became like, so it got explained to me, and I didn't know that like after sex, like this happens a lot. I didn't even know that was a thing. And then I'm like, oh my God, I must have a small penis. Like I'm not even like making the queef happen. I have this like whole, you have this hard day in the rain.
Envy.
Queef envy, exactly. Yeah. So I never, I guess haven't heard it. To me, like, and I don't think. I think when you like someone and you're happy to be in bed with them, you don't really, like we talk about red flag deal breaker. Like we had one recently that was like, we talked about a sex story where someone put on a glove to put a finger up the butt. And they're like, wasn't there shit on the hand? And I'm like, when you're having sex, like you go wash up anyways, no matter what happened. Like to me, that's all like a part of the thing, like I always say like I always want to date a girl who eats corn messy. Because it's like that they like there's
they like to get down.
They get down. There's less inhibition. There's all that type of stuff that goes with that. Yeah, that's just a funny way to say like someone who's just doesn't take themselves isn't too prim and proper and too clean. And it's like I think a lot of guys want that. So
not weirded out by the queef.
Not weird. It would take a lot to weird me out, I think.
Adam Sandler in his most recent special has a whole song about queefs. If you guys haven't watched it, he's like, we're getting down. It's fucking amazing. No, whatever. So let's ignore that massive pussy fart.
Perfect.
It's so good. But it's like literally like all the throes of sex and passion. Sure. It's like, and you...
But that's the reality of sex. Like I remember, like my family, we went on a cruise once, and the day when you go on a cruise, the last day they make you get off the boat at like 6 a.m. So it's like a week of drinking and having fun, and then at 6 a.m. you got to get the fuck off the boat. So like I remember like there's this one dad who was trying to wake up his kids, so he's at the door of his kids' like room on the cruise, and he's banging because he knows that they got drunk. Yeah, and they're not going to wake up. And he just kept yelling, "You want to play? You gotta pay." And we talk about you want to play, you gotta pay all the time. But like that's the deal with sex.
It's like, part of it.
It's part of it. You want to play, you gotta pay.
Sounds, smells.
Yeah, you're gonna have to wipe
liquids.
duty off your finger.
This is a part that Charlotte really liked.
Someone wrote in about how it was tough to get a boyfriend or something, and you were just saying if you're going out every night with the idea to just land a guy, like that's a problem. Like you need to have fun with your friends. Like
and someone wrote back to that because I think it was like a girl who's like 30 and single, and she's like the one single friend. And then like I had someone write to me, and they were like, "Well, there's also the realities of like, we have to get pregnant for a certain age, and 35 is a geriatric pregnancy." And they're like, and I was like, no one is against that, but I go, if you're living your life like that, like it's gonna be hell.
He's not gonna come. Also, it's gonna put. So I used to do this in college. I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna hook up with that guy tonight, and then if you don't hook up with that guy, that ruins the night.
You lose. It's a win or lose
You're a
scenario,
loser.
and it's like, what kind of like And I know this is one of those subjects that like easier advice to give than to take.
Yeah.
But like, first of all, men aren't walking around being like, ew, 30.
Yeah.
Like I talk to my friends every day. That's a conversation I've never had. And like guys want to be with someone who's got a good party going on. So it's like if you're at the bar just like, well, are you going to call, or are you going to be, you're just not going to call me. I've given my number out before, and it's like, yeah, I don't want to call you. Like now I don't.
Not now.
And it's like, but if you're with friends, you're like, and you're hanging, and you're like, you have a, think of like the Marvel movies. What made those fun is that they all interacted and there was a whole universe. They call it the Marvel comic universe. And it's like, we all wanted to like, I like those movies a lot because like I didn't read the comics, but I'm like, I like going online and like figuring out, oh shit, this movie relates to that movie, and this character is from this thing, and I go read the Wikipedia pages, and it's like that's kind of how people want to date. Oh, you got this friends from this group, and this friends from that group, and you used to do this, and you used to do that, and it's like you can't have this whole universe if your whole universe is looking for a boyfriend.
Totally.
And that's an easier way to say it. It's
Absolutely.
harder advice to take.
Yeah, but it's also, I think, just going back to the beginning, and even your meeting story with your girlfriend, like do the things that are going to make you happy. Just live your life, and there will be people at those places who you'll get along with.
She like loves comedy and like loves going out with her friend, and her friend was like hooking up with a comic, so like she's like, I'm gonna be wing woman, and plus I got to go see the show, and I have nothing else going on, and it's like, oh cool, like that's you're doing
she
something
meets
you like,
and she knows you're a comic, so if you're going on the road, she expects that.
Well, yeah, that's a whole
that's a whole
can of worms.
Yeah, but
that she does. I mean, we have to like a lot of our fights and stuff come out of the scheduling, and that's like, I don't know how relatable that is, but to other people, but like that's like where like 90% of our arguments are about like, well, how do we hang out? Which that's why we're going away. Not why, but like
that's why we're going away.
Yeah, we're going away this weekend. But like, it's like,
but you're taking time.
You gotta find times to do these things
and make that time count.
And make it count. And like, but like, even last night we got in an argument. She had a big thing going at work, and I was like, congratulations, and I was pumped for her. And then I had a show where I was doing an hour, and she came with her friend. So I'm walking up to do this hour, and like 10 minutes before the show, she's like, hey. And I'm like, hi. And I say, we talk for a little bit, and I go find a seat. She goes find a seat. Then after the show, I take pictures with people.
Yeah.
As I'm taking pictures, she comes up. We take a picture together. And I was like, let me get through all this, and then we'll hang out. And then she's like, and then she went to dinner, and she's like, you didn't really
get to see me
or say congratulations, or like, I care about your stuff, you didn't care about mine. And I'm like, well, you hit me at like a very tough time for me to like get into that. Like, I wouldn't go up to you 10 minutes before a meeting,
right,
and go, when are you going to talk about, like I understand. And the thing is, the reason I feel bad about it is because like I do understand what she's saying,
totally,
but it's like, it's comedy, and especially if you date someone on a different schedule, and especially if you date someone that's like in a schedule that seems always fun, you kind of forget that like, well, there's work. I like taking pictures with people who come to the shows, but that is a part of like why they come and why and
the job.
That's the part of the job, and
it's
I do
not always fun. So don't worry, Jared's girlfriend. He's having a terrible time.
Well, I to me, it's like the toughest part in a relationship is when someone tells you don't care when you do, and I think that's like something that like, that's like, if it was up to me, I don't think there'd ever be a fight. Like, I don't have any issues. And I'm like, so I'm 100% the problem here?
Yeah.
like, so.
Totally. Well, Jared, I wish we could keep you for longer. This has been
It's a pleasure.
a very, very fun time. If you want to listen to more dating advice, go check out his 2 podcasts, J Train and You Up. Can you tell the listeners where they can find you elsewhere online?
Thank you. Jared Freid on Instagram. That's where I like Instagram. I made that apparent here.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I do a lot of stuff on there at Jared Freid. Sometimes I'll post the questions people ask. I'll write answers to those. I'll do Bachelorette commentary. I post tweets. I post pictures of me as Martha Stewart. It's stupid. But yeah, that's when does this come out?
TBD because of the editing. I don't know what the echo is going to sound like.
We're
going to see. No, but yeah, go check him out.
Thank
go
you.
see
I appreciate it. This is fun.
his shows. We have to ask this to every guest and everyone we have a sexual experience with. Jared
I came
Freid.
during the episode.
Amazing! Yes.
Big reveal.
I love that. We've never had a premature. We got a premature ejaculation.
I gotta say, no offense to you guys, but it was the plate
of
art.
Colonial women.
Yeah, the colonial women on the art on the plate.
On the gilded plate.
That's what got me.
Yeah, Nanny's house is a real horny place.
Oh yeah. Remy, did you finish?
I did. Charlotte, did you finish?
Early.
Awesome. Jared Freid, thank you for coming.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And we'll see you next time on How Come.
Bye.
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 How come? How come? How come I can't achieve? How come I can't achieve? I'm rolling up my sleeves. I'm rolling up my sleeves. Oh baby, I believe these guests can help. 'Cause I can't do it by